Before you watch this, I am going deep into a story of my paranoia. This may be triggering for you if you have ever experienced paranoia or psychosis. I believed the movie The Joker was about me. It is a long story and I give you some recommendations on what to do if you're feeling paranoid and then ask you a question. What's happening, people? Leo the Leprechaun here. Shani Faye and Banry na Caholan to my left. This is my beautiful partner in crime. Shani is joining me as a special guest today in the episode. Got a problem with the lighting. It appears to be too sunny, which is not a saying said too often in Ireland. Ireland, why are you too sunny? Global warming. That's it, mate. You just sit up there and relax. With psychosis, there is quite a high relationship between paranoia and psychosis. So I encountered paranoia before I encountered psychosis. For those of you who do not know what paranoia is basically anxiety or fear that is heightened so much to give you delusional or irrational thoughts. Many of you weed smokers will experience paranoia whenever you are sitting in your car and you've got weed on you and the police are close by. Many of you will also experience paranoia just whenever you're stoned in general, whether you are thinking someone else is talking about you or if you're just extremely anxious of being in a situation. Cannabis heightens anxiety and in my case anyway, it created paranoia. We will be going into the link between cannabis and psychosis in another video, but today, paranoia. So I'm going to be sharing with you one of probably the scariest moments of my life. I believed the movie The Joker was about me. You see, around this time, I would have been coming home from a night of smoking weed. I would get to my room and I tried to close my curtains, but there was a top of the corner of the curtain that just stayed open. I couldn't close it no matter how hard I tried. Lying there in bed, it felt like people were watching me. Have you ever had it whenever you're talking in a group and everyone is looking at you while you're speaking? There's a particular feeling whenever that happens, isn't there? I had that particular feeling while lying in bed one night. And it got me thinking that maybe someone was watching me, maybe someone was recording me. From this gap in the curtains, I thought maybe some spy had came in and set a camera through that gap so they could record me. Believing I could feel this presence watching me, I started to get really anxious and paranoid, and I ended up shouting in my bed, "Can you see me?" Over the following days, a couple of my friends and a woman I thought I loved at the time, they messaged me saying that they were going to see The Joker. I went on to YouTube then and I looked up a trailer for the movie The Joker. I watched the trailer and I thought, this trailer looks so shit. There's no way this movie is as good as it is. Maybe this movie isn't real. Going through my life then, I started to think maybe this movie is about me. What I believed caused these thoughts was a couple of years previously, when I was living in Belfast with a couple of my mates. We would always have like 10, 15 people around smoking joints. And one day, one of the lads started this game. What they would do is they would call my name. I would respond, "What?" And they would pretend they never called my name. They continued to do this and they made me believe that I had something wrong with my hearing and something wrong with my ears and I was hearing things. This game continued for a lot longer than I would like to admit. One of my friends then came up to me alone and he told me that this game was being played on me. Thankfully then, after that, whenever the other lads would try and play this game with me, I now had clarification that it was just a game and I wasn't losing my mind or losing my hearing. 3 years after this, I then found out that the person who created the game was my friend who told me the game was being played on me. So I'm thankful that he told me the game was being played on me, as it started a flood of other people trying to play the game on me. It was really hard for me whenever I found out that that my friend had started this game on me, because, well, at the time he told me it was someone else who started it on me. So with that story, and bringing this in relation to the movie The Joker, being so engulfed in my delusional thoughts, I became to believe that this movie The Joker was maybe a Derren Brown sort of scenario. Derren Brown's like a magician, he uses hypnosis a lot. A Derren Brown sort of scenario in which Derren Brown had told my mates to play this game on me, and now at the show The Joker they were going to tell me about how the game was played on me and give this as a message to the rest of the world so they don't have this game played on them too. So my friend who started this game and who also told me the game was being played on me, it was his birthday. On his birthday, I was going to work at the Ulster Hall to work at the bar. There was a comedy gig being played there. This is the same time people are going to see The Joker. So I had convinced myself that I was going to go to the Ulster Hall and the comedian would have been a part to play in this Joker movie, and they were all going to come out and surprise me, saying that this game had been played on me. While driving to the Ulster Hall, I was so engulfed in my thoughts, I actually drove to the wrong place. And for any of you from Belfast, I drove to the Waterfront, which is like the other side of Belfast. And it was so busy in Belfast, I was late for work, so I had to sprint from the Waterfront to the Ulster Hall. I got to the Ulster Hall half an hour late, and I was panting for breath and sweating, and I thought I was late for like my own show. I then went behind the bar and worked, and I got along with the lads fine. I was cracking a few jokes. I was trying to not think of the possibility of me going on stage. The shift then went on. Whenever the shift ended and the comedy gig ended early, we were cleaning up everything and we got to go home early. My anxiety was at an all-time high though, like paranoia was fucking flooding me. I got outside and I didn't know what the fuck to do. I couldn't believe that I'd convinced myself that I was a part of the movie The Joker. Like, I couldn't believe a blockbuster film was about me. And then when I got out of the show, you know, I was just outside of a building just doing nothing, and I believed this whole fucking story was going to happen to me and none of it happened. One thing was for sure though, I couldn't go out and drink or take drugs. So I rang my friend and I told him happy birthday and told him I couldn't go to his party. And I just went and got a doner kebab, stuffed my face with it, and then didn't go outside for like 3 days. And I didn't tell anyone about this. It wasn't until I started to get symptoms for psychosis that I started to tell people about this. And anyone I told about this, they couldn't understand how I had made this up in my head, and I couldn't understand it either. I still am struggling to gain understanding from the story. It's fucking horrifying believing these delusional stories. If you are experiencing extreme paranoia, however, I would recommend you stop smoking weed, and I would recommend you spend the money you were going to spend on weed on a therapist. After I experienced this extreme paranoia, I actually did get a sort of like message that, you know, I was living the wrong life and I had so much unresolved trauma. And so it led me to writing down all my problems and finding a solution. If you've watched my depressed and want to go travelling video, the problem and solution task, I'll link that above. I recommend you try the problem and solution task for any moment. I did it the other day just to gain some clarification, and it really helped me. Battling my fears. That story is really fucking difficult for me to tell you. I have spoke this over with my friend who started the game, and he has apologised to me. I have forgiven him, and he's one of the few people I've actually told this story to. One final thing you can do if you are experiencing paranoia is, well, number one, journaling, and number two, you can write down 5 whys. So what the 5 whys is it's actually a business method. So it was used particularly if there was a problem in your business. You would ask why 5 times. And by asking why 5 times, you're more likely to get to the root of the problem rather than just hitting the surface. And so if you're experiencing extreme paranoia, if you write down 5 whys, so I will go over them with you now. 5 whys. Why did I believe I was a part of the movie The Joker and think there was a Derren Brown experience happening to me? Why? Could have been because I was smoking too much weed. Why was I smoking too much weed? Because I was self-medicating. I was self-medicating physically for my neck and mentally for stress and anxiety. Why was I self-medicating physically and mentally? Physically, I was self-medicating because the other medication was worse for my brain. Mentally, I was self-medicating because I was not addressing problems. Why was I not addressing problems? Because out of fear. I just kept on running away from them. And then that led me to creating the problem and solution task, which you can check out in the Depressed and Want to Go Travelling vlog. So 5 whys. Try that out. Have you ever experienced paranoia? Can you relate to this? I don't know many people who can relate to it. Anyway, thank you for listening, and dog bless. Arrgh.